Good morning and welcome to Norcal APEX Accelerator's webinar, Collaborating with DefenseWERX, Innovation Hubs. My name is Amanda Anderson. I'm the Program Coordinator for Norcal APEX Accelerator, and today I'm joined by a fantastic speaker, Brad Chedister, who is the Chief Technology and Innovation Officer for DefenseWERX. Before I pass it off to him for this fantastic presentation we have in store for you, I do want to let you know a little bit more about what APEX Accelerator does and how we can help you contract with the government. So a little bit about APEX Accelerators. We are located in Northern California, and APEX Accelerator is a program that can help you with education and training and one-on-one counseling with anything related to government contracting, from registrations in Cal eProcure or SAM to getting your certifications to make you way more competitive when you're bidding on those solicitations and contracts, to even helping you once you win one. We can help with contract compliance and so much more. With 96 APEX Accelerator centers nationwide, this federally funded program provides all of our services at absolutely no cost for you. So you will never be asked to provide any kind of payment or any kind of anything, really. We are here and funded by the government to help you do business with the government. And that's really where our passion for this program comes from. We want to help you. And that's where we get into the ways that we can. At Norcal APEX Accelerator, we handle the northern counties of California. And you can see that here on this right side. We cover 15 total counties, and we offer our services in 3 main pillars. Our first one is our Golden Star, our one-on-one counseling. So we have a huge team of counselors with a variety of experience, both as entrepreneurs and as contracting officers. They've seen both sides of government contracting. And what we do is we help connect you with a counselor who can sit down with you over Zoom, one-on-one, and discuss the challenges and the hurdles and maybe even the successes that you find with your government contracting journey. And we're here to help you along any way we possibly can. Another really cool way that we offer government contracting assistance is through our custom bid matching. Our custom bid matching is a really cool service that our program actually pays for out of pocket, and we're able to offer it to our clients at absolutely no cost. And this invaluable service essentially scrubs the internet and all of those contracting sites where the solicitations are posted, the RFQs, the RFPs, RFIs, and it will email our clients a list of relevant RFPs, RFQs, and RFIs based on criteria that they set with their counselor. And they'll send that list to you. We've heard some folks get emails daily, some people get emails weekly. And this email is just full of opportunities for you to look through. And then our third pillar is our resources and trainings, which you're actually taking advantage of right now. We put on a ton of webinars throughout the year with fantastic guest speakers, like I have Brad here with me today from DefenseWERX, as well as we have an introductory series so we can go over the basics of how to do business with the government. And all of these webinars and training events are offered at absolutely no cost. And the best part, you don't even have to be a client with our center. You can be from Georgia and attend one of our webinars, or you can be from, we've had folks at some of our in-person events travel all the way up from Southern California. And that's quite a long trip, but they do see the value in the trainings, and we are so glad that we can provide that value for both them and you today. So some of these services that we can help with, and hopefully some of these are familiar, like your SAM registration, but we can also help crafting your capability statement and helping fine tune your capability statement for each agency you're interested in working with. We can help with market research and figuring out who or where the agencies are that are buying your products and services. We can even help with that information, help you set a good price point to make you more competitive. We can review your proposals before you submit them to make sure they're looking the best and are all fine-tuned and cleaned up to give you the best chance of winning, as well as helping with GSA schedules, SBIR, STTR. The APEX Accelerator program really does do so much and pretty much anything related to government contracting, all at no cost. So why not get signed up with us? And if not with us, we are a nationwide program. So if you're not in Northern California, I bet you there is an APEX Accelerator Center that you can get connected with. And if you want to give us a call, we'd be happy to help you find them. So before I hand it over to Brad, there is a little bit of management that I have to do in regards to a disclosure. Because this presentation will be recorded and will be sent out and posted on YouTube, we like to include this disclosure to make sure that folks who are seeing it after the recording understand that all of the information presented today is accurate as of today. And with government contracting, there could and probably will be changes made if you're seeing this future out in the future. Sorry. So please do keep that in mind while viewing this in the future. And also for the folks here today, keep in mind that the information in this presentation could change with or without notice. And that's another reason to connect with your APEX accelerators. We do pride ourselves on keeping up with these changes as best we can. And so with that little disclosure out of the way, I'll go ahead and pass it over to our fantastic guest speaker, Brad Chedister.
Hey, thank you so much, Amanda, and thank you all for the opportunity today to kind of chat with you a little bit about DefenseWERX and engage with you. So I really do like interactive presentations. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. So comms check, Amanda, I'm good. Lima Charlie, loud and clear.
Sounding good to me.
Awesome. All right. So again, thank you again for the time. I know all your time is valuable, and I'll try to make this as relevant as possible, and we'll kind of move straight into it. So again, for brevity's sake, my name is Brad Chedister. I'm the Chief Technology Innovation Officer of DefenseWERX. I'm also the director of, and I'll explain this a little bit, but I'm also director of one of our innovation hubs called ICWorks, which supports the Central Intelligence Agency, and also kind of serve on top of all of the other workses, including SoftWorks and all the other ones. So we'll get through that. Happy to be here today. My background is I come out of the military, doing a bunch of stuff with special forces and the intelligence community, and now I've been kind of charged by our leadership and our good government to kind of lead the trusted capital marketplace with this non-traditional innovation framework and try to get access to great tools and processes and methodologies and low barrier of entry type stuff for small businesses, non-traditionals, and innovators across our nation. So how does this actually work? What is a partnership? What is this thing that DefenseWERX is doing? So if you ever want some fun bathroom reading, under Title 15, US Code 3715, it's basically a paragraph that says, hey, if you're a federal lab entity or an entity in the government that is designated as a federal lab, you can pair with a nonprofit and then form a partnership intermediary agreement. And under that partnership intermediary agreement, you can do tech transfer, tech transition, workforce development, STEAM activities, innovation, market analysis, proof of concept development, all that fun stuff. So basically, this is a tool in the government's tool belt, but it's also a tool in your tool belt to actually interface with the government sector a little bit easier. Like I said, low barrier of entry. So this visual presentation, this kind of depiction here on the screen, DefenseWERX is the 501c3 nonprofit. That's us, right? So in this representation, DefenseWERX as a 501c3 plus Special Operations Command, which has a federal lab designation, equals SoftWorks. So hopefully some of you have heard of SoftWorks down in Tampa, Florida. I'm actually wearing the t-shirt right now. No, you can't see it, but SoftWorks is the innovation platform in support of all Special Operations Command, including all the combatant commands and the different units. And they do all sorts of awesome work, everything from submarines to satellites, quite literally, and everything in between. So what is one of these hubs? What is one of these PIAs? What is a SoftWorks or another works? Well, if any of you been in the military mindset, if you've been downrange, one of the first things you do when you go downrange is you put up a big tent and you invite all the key players in, and you sit down and you establish a quorum with them, and you kind of get some good collaboration going. So you can see who's who in the zoo, as they say, and kind of determine what the way forward collectively that'd be best for everyone is. That's kind of the methodology we use here. So we bring partner organizations in, interagency partners, as you can see, federal funded research development centers, university affiliated research centers, interns, hackers, makers, non-traditionals, traditionals, you name it. DefenseWERX curates and cultivates the largest ecosystem in the world in support of national security for our country. So we bring all of these folks in, we have them all having purposeful collisions together, all for good work to be done for the government, for commercial applications, for small businesses, and to provide opportunity across all of those different sectors. So next slide, please, ma'am. Okay, so DefenseWERX is in the middle there of this slide, if you guys can see it. DefenseWERX is the 501c3. That's the only business entity behind this large ecosystem. All of these other outstations are the partnership, where I like to call them innovation hubs, right? So as you can see, we have SoftWorks with Special Operations Command. You have the CFIC, Cyber Fusion Innovation Center with the Army Cyber Command in Augusta, Georgia. EnergyWorks, which is newly minted and set up, but doing a great activity already with Department of Energy writ large to do a lot of crazy good resourcing in clean energy tech and a bunch of other things. You have NPSWorks there in California. It's in Monterey, California, Naval Postgraduate School. We have an agreement with Admiral Rondo there to help supply the innovation platform to bring student-led ideas and innovative ideas to fruition, to commercialize and push back into the military compound. You have HSWorks, Department of Homeland Security headquarters. That's actually based in, it's a virtual hub, so it's based in Florida right now, but it supports all of DHS. The team is up in DC right now running multiple things for TSA, CBP, Coast Guard, Secret Service, all of the components. You have the Doolittle Institute, which is in Niceville, Florida, the Panhandle. It's a very nice place. So Destin, Florida area. They're partnered with Air Force Research Laboratories Munitions Directorate for the Air Force. You have MGMWorks, Montgomery, Alabama, partnered with Air University in the Air Force to support the educational and training sector of the Air Force. You also have ERDICWorks, Engineering Research Development Center works in Vicksburg, Mississippi. That supports Army Corps of Engineers and all of the laboratories across the United States with the Army Corps and the Engineering Research Development Center to do amazing things around engineering, sustainment, the Mississippi waterways, the military construction and sustainment, a lot of different crazy good activity going on there. You also have LandWorks, which I'm sitting in right now. I'm in Des Moines, Iowa. It's a newly set up hub, and it's a partnership with a non-government entity. So it's a partnering agreement, not a PIA, but it's a neutral non-government entity. It's one of the largest agricultural cooperatives in North America, the Landis Co-op. So LandWorks will provide novel innovation services and accessibility for farmer-led, derivatives and co-op members in the agricultural community for food security, land security, ag innovation across the nation, which has a lot to do with national security. You also have Nautilus. Nautilus is partnered with Naval X. They support the Marine Corps and Navy under the Office of Naval Research. That's headquartered in Arlington, Virginia, up in DC area. Lots of crazy good activity going on there. And then you have ICWorks. So ICWorks is the partnership with the intelligence community, more specifically with CIA, Central Intelligence Agency laboratories. I'm the director of ICWorks, as well as kind of sitting on top of the other workses here. So lots of great activity. The cool thing about this ecosystem, now that I kind of trudged through it all for you, is there's really good connectivity. So the idea here wasn't to, go out and franchise like a Subway sandwich shop model here. The idea was, how do you break down the barriers across all of these different research and development organizations in the government to, one, provide transparency and collaboration, and two, provide better clarity to you all in small businesses, non-traditionals, traditionals, education, academia, and other government laboratories on opportunities that are available across the government sector. So DefenseWERX is the purveyor of that. And I'll kind of get into in the next few slides how we do that and why we do that. Next slide, please. All right, so why an intermediary? Why do they need this? Well, we focus on, again, non-traditionals, right? We emulate private sector business operations. So all of you might have a little scar tissue, and maybe you're not, or maybe you've heard from other collaborators that, hey, the government is sometimes arduous to work with. Sometimes it's tough and it's slow and it's too bureaucratic and all that. So DefenseWERX was created quite literally to try to be more agile, to remove some of those boundaries, some of those barriers of entry, to lower that kind of the necessity and what you need to participate, and just allow you to be good novel innovators and provide some architecture and support in order to de-stress the environment for you. Also, it's made to, have the government have better access and wherewithal about what's going on out in the innovation ecosystem. So it kind of plays to both sides, but intermediary is a key term here. I sit in the middle, and while my organization sits in the middle to serve the government purpose of the problem havers, but also the problem solvers, and you all serving you, giving you opportunity, providing you a platform to actually create, develop, and then commercialize or transition to programs of record. So hopefully that makes sense to y'all. So we can act quickly, proactively. We reduce barriers, like I've said before. A key aspect of all of this, which some people in their mind might be asking right now, we're neutral. DefenseWERX as an organization and all of the innovation hubs and platforms are neutral. We don't hold any IP. We don't want your IP. We want to help you develop and protect your IP. We don't commercialize solutions. We leave that up to you. We're neutral across the board. We're here as the service provider to make all these good connectivity things happen. So in that, we are forward funded by a government. So every year we don't have to fight for, oh my gosh, we're competing with everybody to try to do this. Nope, we're forward funded. We signed 5-year agreements. All 12 of these are under multi-year agreements to help the government do this type of stuff and help you all, more importantly, sometimes create and have access to opportunity. So again, cheeky thing I like to say, but it's the truth. We don't just go for the known solutions, we go for the best solutions. This isn't about letting, some of the big primes kind of trample over small businesses because they have these huge business development, entities that can do that. No, what we've done is lower the playing field and apply a platform that everyone's even, your idea wins out, not your business development group. So hopefully that makes sense to some of you. Next slide, please, man. And I'm going to fly through some of these because a lot of it I'm kind of talking about as I'm saying. So what do we do? I already mentioned some of these: tech transition. So getting technology to the warfighter or to the end user, to the farmer, to the DHS operator, to the engineer for the Army Corps. Tech transfer, getting tech out to industry. If you look at some of the websites, which I'll put up a link for at the end of this, especially Army Corps, they're transferring IP, government-led and created IP out and looking for commercialization partners. So they're looking for non-traditionals and small businesses to come in and say, hey, we created an antenna. Hey, we have sticky stuff. Hey, sticky antenna, go commercialize, go make a product, go pitch to the, collaborate together. We're here for tech transfer as well as spinning in good ideas and solving problems with tech transition. We do a lot of innovation collaboration. We ecosystem build, we do market analysis and research. We use a lot of tools and different types of methodologies for that are proven across a lot of different sectors of the government and private sectors. We also do workforce development. I love this aspect of what we do because it's so crucially important for national security and for our country. We have huge intern programs. We do feeder programs for involving different project-based interns from universities. We do fellowship programs. We do military mentor programs. We use STEM and STEAM programs, which I have a daughter. She's going into high school this next year, so I love this. The STEM and STEAM is near and dear to my heart. So we do things like we funded through different universities, the Pat Tillman Foundation through the University of Arizona State University. We funded the University of Southern California's Viterbi Center for underprivileged inner city youths. We've done the American Society of Young Engineers for American Indian Society of Young Engineers, funding a bunch of different stuff for the indigenous population. We've done First Robotics, First Lego League, all of those fun things on behest of our government partners. So an interesting fun fact here, the CIA was the gold sponsor of the first robotics international competition that happened several months ago in Houston. They did that through ICWorks. So we provide a platform in order for the good kind of back and forth to happen between academia, industry, and government to lift all ships with this tide. We also do concept prototyping. We have capabilities and partnerships to bring things to fruition, not just ideas, right? But actually prototyping things out and proving concepts and test and evaluate, putting them in the hands of end users, making sure that what you're developing is actually proven and given good inputs by people that will use this to provide a transitionable pathway to development. And then again, our mantra here is discover, engage, accelerate. Next slide, please. Again, I said a lot of this. I'm just going to fly through and mention a couple bullets. And this, as Amanda said, and thank you for doing that, Amanda. This will be available for you all, and you can obviously reach out to me. I'll put my email at the end of this. But again, all of this is about being a tool in the tool belt of the government and you all to help agile practices and agile expedient things occur. Be innovative, be forward-leaning, move at the speed of innovation, not the speed of bureaucracy, right? Keep us ahead of near-peer competition. Create that trusted capital marketplace where people are incentivized to work together, not to pull apart from each other. And so that's what this platform is for. Some of this boring stuff down here and below, we work under collaborative project orders. Basically what I said before, we're forward funded by the government. And when the government comes to us, we make sure that there's funding available when we push out opportunities. We don't burn down ecosystems saying, oh yeah, participate. And then you participate and nothing happens. We won't push out opportunities. We'll hold our government partners and our different partnerships accountable and for you all, right? So we'll make sure as an intermediary that if we need to push back on them, we'll push back on them in a healthy way. And if we need to push back on you all, we'll do the same thing. Fair is fair. We're here to establish good repertoire with both sides. And if you're in the government, I don't know if any government folks are dialing in one little magic bean of a PIA, it's interesting, right? So PIAs, these nonprofit partnerships that move on behest of the government and behest of small non-traditionals, when the government puts money on these partnership intermediary agreements, it is automatically obligated and expended off of government books. It becomes the PIA funding for the PIA, the money, the partnership, the hub, and then we move on it at the behest of the government decision makers. So again, we're neutral. We don't down select. We don't choose winners. The government does that. However, we're able to do it much, much, much faster in our facilitation for them. Next slide, please. Again, lots of words. I won't go through them all, I promise. I want to leave a lot of time for you guys to throw virtual tomatoes at me and ask questions, right? So a couple of quick ones on this one. Again, neutral. I already hammered that one. I don't know if I can kick that horse anymore, but it's super important, right? This isn't a, take your pick prime or take your pick company's innovation hub. This is for all, and it's funded by the government to be neutral for all, right? So the second bullet there is an interesting one. So when we do a lot of our kind of opportunity announcements, which I'll walk through in a quick slide coming up, when we do opportunity announcements, that means that there's a curated, tangible, actual, potentially solvable, innovative problem from the government. And when they push that out, a lot of times we push it out not just to our large ecosystem and facilitate that outreach. We also push it on SAM.gov, the traditional methodologies of looking at things. So that accounts for fair and open competition. What we're finding over several years, almost about a decade of doing this, is more than 80% of the solutions that come in that are selected by the government of the submissions come from the ecosystem trove, not SAM.gov. What does that tell you? Listen, small, non-traditional innovators, mom and pops, garages, small businesses, academias, you guys are busy developing novel solutions. You're not busy perusing and troving through and, browsing SAM.gov. You don't have time for that. You're creating, right? We need to create a better way to actually facilitate the push out to you so you understand what the opportunity is, and then make it such an easy thing to submit to that you don't take 6 weeks to write a white paper. You take a couple hours during your day, put it in, say, this is exactly what I do. Oh my gosh, I could solve this problem. And then you're having the interaction. That's what we do. But it all accounts for fair and open competition underneath the FAR, even though this is a non-FAR based process. So we're on the up. The government can come in and select at any point in time after they get into down selects, and they can award contracts. So good for you all. Next slide. We'll leave those other ones for you guys to read in your free time. So this is a simple, I tried to keep this as simple as possible, this chart, but this is kind of how it works. Bad dad joke, I know. So this is the how it works process. So as I've kind of alluded to, right, the government or the problem havers get together, and where I'm sitting right now is non-government, so the farmers potentially, right? They get together and they say, hey, we got problems. We have needs. We have desirements, right? And we get together with them and we facilitate processes to curate those desirements, to really kind of pull out and say, all right, what do you mean by AI? You say you want AI, but you can't just say AI. What do you mean by AI? We kind of pull it out and they say, okay, what we mean is we want AI far forward to the operator in a clandestine environment with denied comms. Okay, So we facilitate activities with them, like collaboration events between stakeholders, so government or problem havers, so multiple stakeholders getting together, all agreeing to what the problem is. If the problem still isn't curated or tangible enough, we'll have an industry and government CE, right? We bring in industry partners, we bring in non-traditionals, academia, we bring in experts from across the land, and we say, great, collaborate with the government or the problem havers, and let's have a couple of day event or a day-long event to really say, hey, this is the state of the art right now in this area, and here's the art of the possible. The reason we spend a little time doing this is I'm not here to burn down your ecosystem. I'm not here to burn you down and waste your time. I want to make sure that if we're asking for our counterparts, for our partners, if we're asking problems to be solved, they're tangible, solvable problems, real, and they're impactful. So this is a super important part of this. After we curate the problem, we then push it out, and we push out a thing called an assessment event. So there's a lot of these out there right now. When I give you the website, you can go to all the different works and you see all these opportunity announcements. I want you to understand one thing that's super important. I mentioned this a little bit. We don't release opportunities to the ecosystem unless there are stakeholders that have the problem. So basically problem owners, funding available to actually push against this solution if they select and find good solutions, and a transitionable pathway. What I mean by that is we're not doing innovation theater here, right? We're not doing it just for participation sakes. We're not doing it just to get a prototype and say we did a prototype. No, we want to line that and have all parties involved, from the acquisition side, from the engineering side, and from the user side and the developer side, all of you involved together. That way it's a seamless transition to a program of record or larger scale production. There is no valley of death. Eliminate that up front, right? Get all the parties involved, don't have a valley of death. So that's what this whole process is about. Ecosystem opportunity goes out, super easy to reply to. You all as developers or non-traditionals or traditionals or just smart folks reply to that. Super easy to do, very prescriptive. They get a little time to look at it. The government down selects, the users down select, say we like these. They might reach out for one-on-ones. We facilitate that. After that, there's multiple pathways this can go. This is what I like to call the transitionable pathways. So if the government looks at it and say, hey, you guys found something that's ready for prime time, that solves our problem. Great, go buy, go consign. Use your government purchasing power, use your purchasing power as a end user, go buy. Great, go do that. They could say, hey, this is ready for a FAR-based contract. We want to run either through an OTA, like another transactional authority, or a FAR-based contract, right? Or we want to do a SIBR. We do all that stuff too. Sure, great. Transition straight in. All of this that we did in the down select accounts for fair and open competition. You can go straight to a government contract. The ones where we stay involved at DefenseWERX is when they say, hey, you developed something there, but I wish it was right-handed in blue, not left-handed in black. Hey, DefenseWERX in your innovation hub, can you get with this company and form a business-to-business arrangement? Not a FAR-based contract, but a business-to-business arrangement to do a rapid prototype to prove out that concept? We say, yes, of course we can. Hey, SOCOM, if you want to do that, tell us how much money you have so we can negotiate with that vendor and that developer so they can develop that thing. They load more money to us. We do a research and development project with you all. You actually create, push out, prove a concept, then it goes to a program of record for transition. The magic behind that is the agile process of not having to go through the FAR-based huge contract. It proves out the concept to de-risk then going into potential FAR-based activities. How do you make it so you're going to be more successful in transitioning to a larger program of record? You prove it out quick, right? You figure out all the bugs, you fix them in an agile environment. Hey, if you start this process and you figure out 2 months into a 6-month project that, hey, gravity exists, uh-oh, we can't do that. Great, bring a teaming arrangement on. Hey, there you go. Now you got an anti-gravity gun, you put it with it. Great. So you can do that in an agile way, right? Hopefully that all makes sense. There's a lot of information just in this really simple chart, but I'll be available for questions on that. So next slide, please. All right, this is a representative impact. It's a little outdated now because there's a lot of metrics that change every day. If you want to see these actual metrics, you can go to softworks.org, but we'll have the website at the end of this. Amanda's done a good job of posting that. So impacts, again, I despise, and our organization in return despises, innovation theater. If you've been doing innovation support for the federal government or for you all for more than about 6 months and your only metrics are participation metrics, you're likely running innovation theater. So we take a look at that really hard. And the first thing we do when we get into partnerships is we have discussions with our end users and our transitionable partners to say, what's important to you? For Special Operations Command, they want transitions to program of record. They want consignments. They want validations. They want knowledge transfers. So what we look at is, hey, what's the bullseye? Transitions to the hands of a warfighter for a technology or an innovative capability. All right, what's the next ring? What's the next ring? We go through that and we talk about this early, often, and always with the government counterparts. We make sure that these are achievable metrics through the methodologies that we employ to facilitate innovation. So this is a little bit different than a lot of innovation places, because sometimes they go out and do market research to find shiny keys, and then they try to go find users for shiny keys. We establish relationship and repertoire with the users to make sure we understand the needs. Then we go out and find the right key to be developed to actually put in so it transitions in a much more impactful way. So hopefully that makes a little sense. That's why the partnership is so important in this. Next slide. I'm almost done, and then we can do questions. So types of innovation. So you guys have probably heard this: incremental, adjacent, transformational. We look at all three. There's a 40-30-30 model a lot of people follow. We follow the model that is based upon whatever the needs of the metrics are from our end users. So a lot of people might be looking for more incremental, so we can point our arrows, if you will, at that a little bit more. Some folks and some organizations say, hey, moonshots. We want transformational things. We can point our arrows at that a little bit more. Some people want, again, IP pushing out for transfer. So we have a lot of different things that we can facilitate. The risk assessment on the right-hand side of your screen there is interesting, right? So a lot of you have probably seen the old NASA risk cube of the likelihood and consequence, right? The 2D risk matrix. We look at things a little different. We include that, of course, but we also look at speed and payoff. If you can do stuff fast and there's lots of payoff there, hey, that kind of de-risk things. If there's a huge payoff, but it's going to be slower, we go back and we talk to our end users and talk to our developers and say, hey, truth be known here, there's going to be a long term to get to what right looks like, but hey, huge payoff if we get there. What's your acceptance of the risk in this? So we help them look at risk in a different way based upon longitudinal collected metrics over years and years and years of doing this. Next slide, please. I love this slide. It might be a little boring, lots of words, but hopefully my energy kind of comes through in it. So lessons learned over doing this for a long time. So I mentioned my background. I was doing innovation for the government and special operations since about 2004, internal to the government, trying to change a lot of things in Joint Task Force and a bunch of fun stuff with special mission units and all those fun things that you haven't heard about. Here's some lessons learned over years and years and years of doing this, from internal and external, and right in the middle now. So maintain momentum, right? Always get momentum going, maintain it, easy. Pivot quickly when it doesn't work, just like the Friends episode, right? They're trying to move the couch upstairs and pivot, Hey, if something's not working, don't just keep beating your head against the wall. You always hear this fail fast thing, right? In innovation, hey, fail fast, fail fast. Yeah, but the caveat is fail fast, but don't make a habit of it. Don't fail anymore. If you're going to fail fast, fail once and don't ever fail that way again. Learn your lesson and be successful the next time you do it. So the next one, I love this one. You can't force adoption. The best idea doesn't always win. You have to establish repertoire. You have to have a path forward. And this is what I was mentioning before, the shiny keys thing. Find products for your customers, not customers for your products. A lot of metrics or impact kind of things that happen in these innovation compounds aren't really realized because they go out and chase, again, shiny keys, instead of saying, hey, let's talk to the people that actually own the locks and the doors to understand what type of keys we need to be looking for here. Then you have much more impact because you have involvement and inception of an idea and follow through across the whole pathway. Own the numbers, don't do innovation theater. I think I've said that enough, so I'm not going to kick that horse anymore. I despise it. You can probably tell that by now. Execute fiercely, demand excellence. Hopefully my energy's coming through a little bit. I geek out over this stuff. So I did a lot of fun operational support stuff with special operations. I geek out over innovation because of what a huge impact it actually has to national security and now agricultural and other things, right? And then build a team of committed stress reducers. Government employees, contracting officers, all these different places, developers, operators, you all as innovative solution providers, you have enough stress in your life. We're here to try to lower the barrier of entry, make an easy platform for you to kind of coincide together to really create, and then quite honestly, get paid to create, make capital, be better, right? Just create businesses, be able to be better in the future to support for national security, provide jobs for our kids, all that fun stuff. That's what this is all about. And then this fun little graph here. My favorite way to say it is the law of diffusion of innovation is if anybody's seen that YouTube video, the guy that gets up and starts dancing in the crowd, he's the only one dancing at the concert, and then soon there's 3 or 4 people dancing with him, and then you got the whole crowd dancing, they're following. That's early adopters. That's the late, the early majority, the late majority. So law of diffusion of innovation is when we establish partnerships and innovation, we're trying to get those innovators and early adopters in first, and then change the culture, right? Everybody kind of comes on board once they see these wins that you're having. That's happened across multiple organizations. Next slide, please. That's it. That was simple, right? So hopefully that came across as good information. DefenseWERX.org. You can go there. That's our headquarters website. It has links to all of, or most of, the different innovation hubs. You can click on those and join the ecosystem. This isn't a tongue-in-cheek thing here. So how, if you're asking, and some people might ask this, so hopefully I'll answer one question really quick. How do I become aware of the opportunities coming out of the ecosystems? Join the ecosystem. This isn't a bagels in the break room thing, right? This isn't a, hey, it's Steve's birthday, everybody cake in the lunchroom. No, when we push out emails to the ecosystem, these are opportunities, like I said, that have stakeholders, potential funding, and transitional pathways against them. So if you see something come out through the ecosystem blast, you'll know, hey, I actually have expertise in AI. I should look at this, participate. It's super easy. That's my my email. That's my work email. I know this is dangerous to put on here, but that's my personal email. And there's also a way to kind of get at us through defensewerx.org. So that was all in one breath. I'll pause there. And Amanda's probably going to lead some question and answer stuff, but I'm happy to answer questions. And again, thank you so much for allowing me to kind of bark at you for the last 30+ minutes and give me your time.
And thank you, Brad. That presentation was fantastic. I learned so much about DefenseWERX, and I'm sure the audience did as well. And we have a ton of great questions. But before we get into those, I do want to let the folks joining us today know about some of our APEX Accelerator events that are coming up that you might be interested in. Tomorrow, we have our introductory webinar. So that's how to do business with the government. And this is very introductory level if you're still kind of getting set up and kind of thinking about government contracting as a revenue stream. This webinar will absolutely be beneficial to you just to get a good foundation. And then some other events, Navy Gold Coast Small Business Procurement event is going to be happening at the end of this month in San Diego. That's always a really fun conference to attend, and it's so informational. I know they have a matchmaker session as well, which can help you make connections with local agencies there. And then up in Northern California, we also have another in-person event, and this is for the Great Redwood Trail Community Workshop. And this is actually a brand new project that's in development to convert some long-standing train tracks that run down Northern California into a multi-use community trail. And so while they aren't looking for contracts quite yet, this workshop is community outreach, and building that relationship with them is one of the best ways to make sure that your name comes up when the contracts come out. And the other one, which is at the end of August, is with Caltrans, and Caltrans will be doing a 2-day event that we will be participating in about how to find both Caltrans and state government contracting opportunities, which is definitely going to be a very informative session. It can be very difficult to find opportunities, especially if you don't have previous experience with it. And with that, we'll go ahead and go into these questions. So the first one we got was from an anonymous, and they were wondering if they had to be a nonprofit or if you could work with nonprofits.
Yes, great question. So the answer is you don't have to be a nonprofit, and yes, we can work with nonprofits. So if you're a solution provider, this is for everyone, right? So there is no, we're not ruling you out, right? So again, best solutions, not just known. So the answer is, yep, join the ecosystem. Again, we're neutral across the board. So if you develop solutions and you have awesome innovation, chip in.
Fantastic. And is there any base level experience that they need to have in business to join the What did you
Just be
call
good
the network?
innovators. You don't have to have base level experience. So just be good innovators, right? So
Fantastic.
yeah, have great ideas. Come willing to participate and collaborate.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know at least for us, we do ask to have some level of, they've been in business for a while. So it's great to hear that as long as they're developing innovative solutions, they can get connected.
We've had a 11-year-old kid come to some of our collaboration events and contribute quite a bit. So all the way up to, you know, the Boeings and Lockheed Martins of the world. So yeah, everybody, it takes all comers, and it's a really open ecosystem, and it doesn't cost anything to join. Free,
That's,
no OTA consortia pay to play.
yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so on to the next one. Andre was wondering if you see any kind of opportunities with fiber optics construction and installation.
100%. Yeah. So actually, the Army Corps of Engineers looks at a lot of that. So they actually participated in the redesign of Tyndall Air Force Base, the Air Force Base of the future. A lot of that was fiber optically enabled construction, impregnating fiber optics into structural walls, to actually runways, a bunch of different really cool stuff. So if you have applications there, chip in. There's actually ways to join. We actually host OTAs and CSO, commercial solutions openings, so you can push in unsolicited things to our ecosystem. Army Corps of Engineers, WebPage is a really good place to start with that. So is SoftWorks.
That's fantastic. And then I know we said that you could work with nonprofits, but you did mention that you focus on getting small businesses. Do they have to be small business certified to work
Nope.
with you?
Nope, they don't. But we're here to lower the barrier of entry, right? So they don't have to be small businesses, right? A lot of times, you know, we'll have, listen, if you're a, I'm just picking one, I'm not picking on them. If you're a Raytheon and you have the best idea and you get down selected by the government to work with, great. If you're a small mom and pop shop and you have a better idea than Raytheon, we don't look at, hey, oh my God, you have the Raytheon name. No, the solution, right? It could be, hey, Raytheon potentially paired with that small business, if they so do the desire to work together, that might be the thing, right? So the answer is you don't have to be a small business, but this whole ecosystem is focused on lowering the barrier of entry for everyone with the best solutions.
Fantastic. And yeah, it's rare in my experience to find resources like yours that can really just help anyone as long as they have those solutions. Okay, and let's look. So we have another question. They're wondering if DefenseWERX can help within the ecosystem with rapid or proof of concept prototyping, and if you can help with funding as well.
Yeah, the funding comes from our partners, right? So the federal government. So we traditionally, DefenseWERX, me as a nonprofit, I'm a small nonprofit, right? I don't have funding for our RDT&E. However, my partners do, and they use us as platforms to push that funding into, right? So yes, there's funding available for a lot of different stuff. For rapid prototyping, additive manufacturing, prototype development, all of those services and techniques and solutions are definitely part of the ecosystem. So if you have different things in those areas, participate, chip in, join the ecosystem, figure out some great ways to kind of lean into this.
Yeah, so it sounds like Cecile will definitely be connecting with you. It sounds like they have commercialized IP from NASA, so they definitely
We work with
hopefully
NASA quite a bit.
connecting. Fantastic. And then Ruby was wondering, what qualifications do you look for in technology transfer partners?
Good question. So really, it just depends really. So I'm not the one, DefenseWERX is not the one to actually push the qualifications and any mandates on qualifications. That would be the government partner that's trying to transition tech out. A really good thing to look at to kind of learn more about this is if you go to ERDCWERX, ERDCWERX.org, that's the Army Corps of Engineers. We list different IP that's, you know, ready to be transferred out and partnered with and everything else. And then it has little questionnaires that say, hey, can you do this, this, and this? Are your company does this, this, and this? So you'll see the qualifications available. And, but again, we're not here to disclude anybody. I don't make down select decisions. So I'm not the one to tell you, hey, you can't participate because you weren't in a small disadvantaged women-owned small business, right? That's not my choice to make. Now, if they put that stipulation on the release, that's up to the government. However, what I would tell you is this is pretty open, folks. Like this is probably the most open innovation ecosystem ever created for national security support. So the only thing that you can do wrong here is to not participate.
Fantastic. And that does actually answer another question that came in about the experience requirement, which it doesn't seem like there is any, as long as you have that innovative solution.
That's correct. Lean in.
Perfect. And then we have a couple of questions about how SBIR and STTR grants would factor into working with DefenseWERX. Do you guys help them get that as a sort of funding?
Yeah, great question. So that's a potential transition pathway. And some of our hubs actually run and facilitate some of the SBIR process and projects for our government partners. A good way to look at that is SOFWERX, actually the Director of Science and Technology for Special Operations Command, government person, went and lobbied and got congressional designated authority for the PIA, the SOFWERX partnership, to actually run the SBIR efforts. So we do all the cost schedule, performance, program management, opportunity releases. The government still makes the down selection decisions. It still acts as a technical POC, but we do all of the management of the SBIR program. And it is extremely agile and helpful for them. So they've doubled, tripled, and quadrupled their efficiency and their deliverables to the warfighter through the SBIR process by using their partnership with SOFWERX. So the answer is, yep, we're very tied into SBIRs, very tied into STTRs, AFWERX, SBIRs, and all those fun things. So we actually, I didn't list AFWERX on that, but we actually created AFWERX with the Air Force. So DefenseWERX plus USAF equals AFWERX. So we actually ran AFWERX for the first 3 years with the Air Force. So all of those different SBIR applications and everything we're very familiar with. So happy to help.
Fantastic. And then a little kind of tangent on that question. How does your SBIR and STTR differ from being directly funded through like a DoD agency with that?
It's the same funding. So
It's the same thing.
We're just facilitating the activity in the SBIR. The SBIR money comes from the same SBIR offices. So SOCOM SBIR office, which is a government SBIR office, just like Army SBIR office, Air Force SBIR office. It's the same group of people, internal. We're just there as the facilitator of process to help them get to what right looks like faster. So the money is still coming from SBA to the SBIR programs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then on to our next question. Jeffrey was wondering if you could explain some of the intake logistics of submitting your company to the ecosystem.
Great question. Super simple. What do you do? Who are you? Who are you? What do you do? Where are you located? Anything you want us to know about you? And what area of interest are you involved with? That's pretty much all it takes to join the ecosystem. So you'll see it on the defensewerx.org website. You'll see it on some of the other websites. Go to SOFWERX, join that ecosystem. You can select on joining multiple ecosystems. You can browse and peruse the websites of that you find on the defensewerx.org thing. And there's little buttons that say join the ecosystem. Click them, fill out the form. Should take you 5 minutes and you're good to go.
Fantastic. Super easy to sign up. You guys really do remove as many barriers as possible.
Learned lessons. So I used to be internal to the government, beat my head against the wall, wondering why I wasn't able to put things in the hands of warfighters faster. And over years and years and years, we've painstakingly created process, methodology, and platforms to do that.
That's amazing. And I'm for everyone, I am dropping the SOFWERX and DefenseWERX links in chat. So you will have those, but you will also be getting them with the follow-up email, as well as the slides and recording of this event as a quick reminder. We do have some more questions, so we'll move on to those. Eli was wondering, they already have a connection at Major Hurlburt Field, Spark Cell. They've submitted several SBR grants and got selected, but not funded.
Yep.
And they're wondering if DefenseWERX can help with that kind of sticking point.
Yep, good question. That's something that AFWERX did and the Air Force did. They did the selected but not funded. That kind of checks a couple boxes for you. So actually, I have no control over that. So that's a SBIR and a SBA. That's an inherently government thing. A couple of things to that. So now that you've been selected but not funded, that means that you can actually be funded by other organizations through the SBIR process without having to go through competition. So that's a helpful thing. So you're already in the hopper, as they say, but it still doesn't help the fact that you didn't get funded. So what we can do is we can share your idea. If you have a great idea and it's selected, not funded, we can share that with other organizations rather than just the Air Force to see if there's other government entities that might be interested in your tech development. If there is, that might be a really good avenue for you guys to get funding to actually create the innovative solution. So happy to help with that. I don't control the SBIR process. So that's something, that they decided to do. It's been interesting watching just put it this way, it's been interesting watching what the federal government has done with SBIR over the last 5 years of trying to do this. They had a really, really bad bandwidth problem. We're trying to alleviate some of that, but I think that the good folks in the SBIR office and SBA are trying to find their way to the sunshine and figure that out for you all. And I think they're doing a better job now.
Absolutely. We can only improve,
Right.
ideally.
You learn by doing.
Yep. And then our next question, we have upskilling technology that we want to find partners to work with on. It's an intelligent ebooks course for STEM, USPTO patented with prototyping, early product, adding Gen AI. They're wondering how they can find partnerships or how you would recommend they go about that.
Yep, that sounds like an interesting thing. So what I would do is push into DefenseWERX, join the ecosystem. That's not a tongue-in-cheek thing, join the ecosystem. But the other thing you can do too is you can also look at things like, if you go to softworks.org, they have things like Tech Tuesday. So unsolicited, great novel technologies. You have the ability to join on and pitch them to different government user sets. So every Tuesday at Special Operations Command, the headquarters there, we have it at our innovation compound of SoftWorks. People are able to dial in. Multiple companies will pitch their ideas. It's all to a government audience, so you can get as IP-ish as you want. It's just government people listening in, and it's not just SOF. It's not just special operations. It's SOF, Army, NASA, DHS. Across all of the different factions of the government. I think the last one we had 30+ different organizations dialing in. That basically puts you in front of different government counterparts to say, hey, we really like that. All we ask from them is, hey, we don't need a we don't need an attaboy or a pat on the back. Just tell us if you're going to go off and chase this idea. That way we know that Tech Tuesdays being a good platform for everybody. So we try to provide you the right avenues and the right audiences to get your problem sets or get your novel innovations in front of users. So then you can establish that repertoire and then we can push you forward.
Fantastic. And then our next question comes from Dean. It seems like they're finishing AFWERX phase 2 and are looking for phase 3 and wondering if you have any insights or advice on how they can do that.
Great question. Again, I don't control the SBIR, but one thing you can do is if you've had successful phase 2s, you can send me an email to my personal email. And I likely know users that might be interested in your technology or solutions. So one of my jobs is, it's just like the 3rd grade or 2nd grade, even 1st grade, animals over here, colors over here. My job is to draw the lines of connection. So over the last 20+ years of doing this, the Rolodex is big. It's not a bragging thing, so sometimes it's real big in my head, but I can help you connect in different ways and try to get you to what right looks like. So happy to try to be of assistance with that. Fantastic.
And then Duke actually brought up another kind of qualification question that we hadn't discussed. Does the business or entity have to be at least majority owned by a citizen?
Not exactly. So there's a lot of international things that are going on in this ecosystem. So again, it depends on what the end user is, what the government counterpart is asking for, and also depends on what they put stipulations on. So we've had things from different countries, come in. We've had developers from Australia and UK and Israel and other things like that. So there's been a lot of international cooperation with this ecosystem. That all just depends on who the end user is.
Perfect.
So case basis,
yeah. So no general blanket rule there, but it will be
our
case by
ecosystem
case.
is open. It's an open, unclassified ecosystem.
Fantastic. And that rolls right into one of the last questions. It seems like someone has already submitted proposals to DHS, and they're wondering if they can join the ecosystem to look for other opportunities to submit or maybe resubmit on that same proposal.
Of course, join the ecosystem, get after it.
Absolutely.
It never hurts to double tap, is like I say in my past career.
Fantastic. And with that, we do have one last question that will wrap up this webinar quite well. Eli's wondering if you can go over the how to join the ecosystem just one more time to leave us off with.
Sure. If you go to defensewerx.org, it'll actually bring up links and you say, hey, what's the innovation ecosystem, our hubs. You can bring that up and it'll actually have buttons that say join the ecosystem. You can also join the ecosystem from defensewerx.org. So if you go to these different websites we're putting on here, defenseworks.org, softworks.org, erdicworks.org, CFIC, all the ones that I talked about, they'll all be links on the DefenseWorks site. You can join the ecosystem through there. Super easy, super non-invasive to do, free. You don't have to pay anything. And then you're basically signed up to receive opportunity announcements. And when the opportunity announcements come out, you can click on, there's very prescriptive instructions on, hey, how to participate, fill out these forms. This is do this at point in time. It tells you timelines. Very, very easy to follow. So, yep, that's the easiest way. And if you have any other kind of additional questions and you want to get deeper dive into something, just reach out to me. I'll point you in the right direction.
Absolutely. And so thank you all again for joining us today. It was a fantastic presentation. Thank you, Brad, for being here to give us all of this great information.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you guys so much for your time. And hey, the call to action here is participate. All right. So you guys are all great developers, innovators. I trust that you're doing great stuff for our nation. Let's go. Let's kind of join hands together. Let's do the right thing here to produce great stuff for our nation and for our future. So participate. There's no excuse. This is free to do. So let's get after it.
Absolutely. We move forward together.
Love it.
But before you all go, I do want to bring your attention to a feedback survey that you'll be redirected to once you leave the webinar. We always value our attendees' feedback on how the webinar was, how the presentation was. So if you take maybe 2 minutes, it shouldn't take that long, to leave us just some feedback about what we can do better, what you really liked to see, and maybe even some other topics that you may want us to look into for trainings like this. And we do go through this, and all of your feedback is absolutely invaluable because, again, at Apex Accelerator, and I'm sure at DefenseWorks, we really do this for the benefit of you and so that you can contract with the government. And with that, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.